Spears from The Undefeated reporting that the Kings have fined DeMarcus Cousins a substantial amount for this recent run-in with a Sacramento Bee columnist.
He's been allowed to do so many things in Sacramento.
It's a bad look for DeMarcus Cousins.
Will it be a distraction? It seems to fuel this guy.
For the lead, DeMarcus Cousins. Oh, turn the sprinkler systems on. DeMarcus Cousins is on fire.
Cousins plays through the contact, score the bucket.
And Cousins spits at the Blazer bench. He spit his mouth guard out for the Blazer bench. If that's not a T, I don't know what is.
I hope the world can see now what's really going on out here, because it's getting ridiculous. It's really ridiculous.
No, it's not ridiculous. He did it to himself. His antics are over the top. He's disrespectful. I can't respect someone like that.
Nah, no, I would never spit on him. I'm not like that. I saw the replay, so I can see why people could be mad. It's honestly ridiculous. I've never seen this before.
And he thinks it's ridiculous. News of a reported $50,000 fine in the morning and then a 55-point game in the night. Busy 24 hours for one DeMarcus Cousins. You're back with us, Brian Windhorst, to talk about this. This relationship between the media and the subject that we are required to report on. I will talk to you first, and then I'll talk to Amin Elhassan. I'll bring him in a little later. But talk to me about what you believe. Why did Boogie Cousins in his post-game interview say it's ridiculous and he hopes the world can see? He comes across to me as someone who feels like he's being attacked, if you will, by the media and perhaps the refs, as if someone is out to get him, and he really is just misunderstood.
I think what he was talking about there, Carrie, was the technical foul. Now, let me just point out, and to defend him, which I'm not apt to do, that was seconds after he had an incredibly emotional game, 55 points. Maybe he wasn't measured there, but he believes, and he got a technical foul last week, and he said it won't be the last technical. There'll be many more, because he feels he's unfairly targeted. He feels like what other players get away with gets him a technical foul, and that's what he's talking about when he says the whole world can see it. But the reality is, as we talked about earlier, he's earned that reputation. And what Myers-Leonard said there was accurate. It's not ridiculous for officials to have a quick tee on him, just like it's not ridiculous for officials to have a quick tee on a lot of the Clippers players, because Doc Rivers has been chewing on officials for 15 years, and Chris Paul has been chewing on officials for 10 years. And so you look at Boogie Cousins, he probably should have gotten a second technical in that game and ejected, not because his mouthpiece came out, but because he was taunting the bench, which is technically not allowed. And he had another technical earlier in the game. He's not debating that he earned that technical. So this is something that if you look at it on the micro level, you can certainly defend him. If you look at it on the macro level, it's a miracle he doesn't get more technical fouls.
Okay, so let's look at it on a macro level. You talk about what he has earned in terms of his reputation, but is it, I mean, let's just think about it. Could he be right in the sense that one or two incidents means that he can't do anything? Is there some validity to what he believes?
Absolutely. He is absolutely officiated differently than other players in the league. There's no question about that. Now the question is that wrong? You know, in the laboratory, if you where they train refs, they would say that's wrong. But in the NBA, reputations matter. It matters for everything. It matters how much you get paid. It matters how many minutes you get. It matters whether you get to the line. It matters what awards you get. In a lot of cases, it depends on the type of bonuses in your contract, whether you get to the All-Star game, whether you get to the Hall of Fame. Reputations and your history matter. It matters in society, too. It matters when you're in front of the judge. It matters when you're asking a woman or man to marry you. This stuff matters. Boogie's got to understand that's how society works, and he has to pay the penalty for some of his past decisions.
It also matters for us, too, right, as members of the media. We can talk about that all day long. Stick a pin in that. I'm going to bring in Amin. Amin, you heard what Brian had to say. Even in the segment before, Ed Werder and his revealing story that he had to be strapped because he thought something was going to happen to him. Ed Werder.
The biggest news story today, that Ed Werder was always strapped when he's in the club.
No, well, yeah. I mean, relatively speaking. So, you're so funny. Do you think we're too hard on Boogie Cousins?
Sometimes, but what Brian said is right. We got to this point because you made it that way. We didn't say this dude is the guy we're going to pick on, and let's pick on him. He came in with a body of work, and at some point, you either can mature after a few years in the league and kind of calm down, or you can take it to another level. He's taken it to another level, and so now the spotlight's on you. The saying I like to say a lot, and it may not be appropriate, but why not? Let's do it. Let's live a little. If you have life in the trunk, maybe you should be running red lights. Like that's the meaning. Like if you've got 2 strikes, if you know the microscope is on you, you have to adjust your behavior till at least the microscope is off. And he hasn't adjusted his behavior throughout his entire career.
Hey, let's move this forward. What about his relationship or his playing relationship with the Kings? Do they keep him? You said the marriage is broken.
Right. So, but this is what makes it hard, right? This is why couples sometimes they want to stay together because you have a good day. It's like, look, see, it could be like this every day. It can't be like this every day. It's like this on some days because, yes, he's an incredible talent. But when we're talking about through the course of time, through an entire season, and into a playoff push, and winning games, and adversity, and losing streaks, and all that stuff, that fracture shows. That stress shows all those issues. They come to the top.
All right, I'll ask you this, and this question for Brian Windhorst as well. How long do we see Boogie Cousins with the Kings?
Man, Brian, I'm going out on a limb now because of what's happened recently. I wouldn't be surprised if he's in another uniform playing in the playoffs this year.
Wow.
I don't think he will be traded because the new rules favor the Kings keeping him. I think it just emboldens them to try to keep him, make it work longer.
I don't know if the issue is, I wonder if he might leave us in free agency. The issue is they can't win. Guy's been there 6 years. They never won more than 32 games.
So what's next?
Next, you got to start over. At some point, you got to say, this does not work.
All right. The turbulent relationship with Boogie Cousins and the Kings and his relationship with the media. Brian Windhorst, I'd like to have you on the show tomorrow, okay? We need to discuss this again. I'm booking your days for you, okay? No? I didn't get a comment. Oh, no comment. David, I got a no comment from Brian Windhorst. Back to you, David Lloyd.